Today I'm going to read to you Every Last Cycle, a collection of 2 novellas by Zarina Macha, presented to you by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Every Last Thought. Chapter 1. Rocking back and forwards, my hands clutching my knees, deep breaths in and out, in and out, in and out. I try to stay calm. My teeth are biting the insides of my mouth. Don't scream. If I scream, they'll know. If I scream, I'll be in trouble. You're already in trouble, Tess. You're in big trouble, and you know it. Leave me alone, please. I reach for my cigarettes next to me, my hands shaking, empty. The packet is empty. How did this happen? Someone stole it. Someone stole your last cigarette. You know they did. They were watching you the whole time, and they stole it. I have nothing to hold on to, so I hold on to myself, steady, steady, backwards and forwards. I can hear my name being called, stomps up the stairs. 1, 2, 3. I'm beginning watched every minute. I know they're watching me. I'll be in trouble. If she intrudes, I'm in trouble. She can't come in. She can't. She does, and she's standing over me. I'm staring at her. She is looking around my room, at the mess, books spilled everywhere, pieces of paper ripped up, eyeliner and mascara smudged on my floor. She takes in the empty packet of cigarettes. Is she going to tell me off? She doesn't. She sighs. She walks towards me. Don't come any closer. I don't want her to see me like this. I don't want them to see her. Tell her to go away, they say. Get rid of her. Get rid of this pathetic cunt. But I can't get rid of her. She looks sad. Oh, Tess. She bends down, trying to coax me. I back away, my hands crawling backwards. I told you, don't come any closer. She sighs again, and she looks around the room. How long ago did you do this? I don't answer. If I don't answer, maybe she'll go away. But she isn't. She's getting up, and she's sitting on my bed? No, Mom, you have to go. Why does she not understand this? I put my head back in my hands. She can't hear them like I can hear them. They're screaming at her, at me, telling her how useless I am. I can't get rid of her, my own mother. She sits back on the floor with me, stroking my back. I push her a hand away and then crawl backwards. I crawl to the other side of my room and sit by my wardrobe. She sighs. She goes. She's gone. Chapter 2. Tess messed up her bed again, I hear my mom telling my dad the next morning. I lean against the wall outside the dining room. They are discussing me, as always. That's all they ever talk about. Was it worse than last time? I hear my dad chopping cornflakes, turning the newspaper. Not as bad. Her mirror was still intact. She wasn't hurting either. Thank God for that. At least we won't have to take the poor girl to A&E again. I wonder if I should go inside and join them. I decide to listen for a bit longer. Do you think the therapy sessions are helping? Dad pauses. This new woman was supposed to be really good, Dr. Emmeline. I think Tess likes her. Do I? Is that what they think? I've only seen her twice, but I guess so. I decide to take this as my cue to join them for breakfast. I walk inside. They instantly stop talking, smiling as I enter. This is the point at which they try to act natural, but inside they're yearning to ask me about the inner contours of my young life. Mornin', darlin'. You okay? Asks Mom. I nod. She recently put auburn highlights in her hair and is dressed in a simple beige blouse and a blue skirt with matching blue cardigan. My cereal is sitting in front of me, waiting for me. I sit down, start eating. Dad turns the page, checking his watch on the end of his wrist. He scratches the collar of his white shirt. I see them glancing at each other, out of the corner of my eyes. So how's school? Dad chooses a safe question. I tell him I got an A on my psychology test. Well done. And I'm predicted a B for English coursework. Asking about school is the perfect icebreaker for anyone still at school. Well, sixth form. Interchangeable terms. Of course, I leave out the bit me having 2 psychology essays overdue and skipping my last sociology test because I was sick. Parents don't need to know everything. Then Mom asked the question she's been dying to ask. So, how's Ed? I haven't seen him in a while. I stop eating. Freeze. My spoon hovers in midair. Stare straight ahead at nothing. Once again, they glance at each other. Dad stretches out his hand, waving it in front of me. I see Mom trying to stop him. Too late. She knows he shouldn't have done that. Slowly, I turn to face him. Your mother was just asking a simple question. Get up. Flies, hands are flying in the air. Table knocks over. Crash. Cereal spills everywhere. Parents skid back to their chairs. Dad rescues his newspaper. I stand. Blue eyes cold and expressionless, staring at the upturned table. My parents are silent. Without blinking, I leave the room. Don't want to be late for school. Chapter 3. I have lived in this area all my life. Primary school is down the road. Secondary school is 15 minutes away, on foot. Sixth form is right next to it. The newly built block away from the annoying kids milling around like meat rats. I met Ed in year 10. I remember that day very clearly. I was in panic mode on the account of having math tests first thing. All I could think about was the useless of algebra. Flicking pages, trying to make something go in, anything at all. I could hear someone calling my name, a guy, ignoring it. Easier that way. He called again. Next thing I knew, my path was blocked. I looked up, irritated. A tall, lanky guy with light brown skin and short, dark hair, grinning at me. Do you mind? I asked. I need to get to my lesson. I'm in a mess too, he said. I just arrived and I have no idea where to go. Why was he asking me this? The office is that way, I said politely, in the direction I'm walking in. Follow me. I felt like his personal tour guide. I thrust my hand back to my books, staring at the pictures' rectangle shapes, so that he would know I was no intention of making conversation. I didn't really mind him being there. It was just math is public enemy number 1 in my books, and it was difficult to think of anything else. Here, finding the office of our school can be a little tricky because you have to turn and then turn again. There was a sign, but I think it was broken at that point. School was only just getting rebuilt. I was about to leave, but he tapped me on the shoulder. Thanks, by the way. I said goodbye, thinking that would be the last time we spoke. Later that day, around lunchtime, I went out near the sheds behind the school to have a smoke. I was 14, and I had recently started. I leaned against the shed, enjoying the smoke. I heard a group of boys walk past. The tall guy from earlier was with them. Somehow, he saw me, even though I thought I was well hidden. He gave me a wave. I must have smiled back at him. Cigarettes put me in a good mood, because he walked over. Thanks again for earlier. I realized I don't know your name. I looked at him properly. He didn't seem scary or judgmental. It's Tess. I'm Ed. I offered out a pack to him. He shook his head. I don't smoke. I shrugged. Suit yourself. Took another drag. How come you started in year 10? I used to go to St. Benedict, but then we moved. Ah, I breathed out. St. Benedict is the all-boys school, about 40 minutes away from my school, Bloomstead. Did you like it there? It's good. I prefer a mixed school. I think it's better in general. I nodded. Did you move with your parents? Dumb question, but I was trying to be polite. Yeah, with my mom. That's cool. Got any siblings? Nope. You? I had a twin brother, but he died in a car accident when I was 10. He was quiet for a minute. I'm sorry. It's okay. It was 4 years ago. I took another drag. We chatted for a while, but our parents, and about school, and what subjects we were thinking about picking for A-levels. Usual stuff. It was nice, though, easy going. After about 20 minutes, we decided to go get some food. So I went down to the chicken and chip shop at the bottom of the road. I made sure mine had plenty of scarlet ketchup. You can't have chips without ketchup. Doesn't taste right. We sat in the on the wall outside the local estate, chatting and chomping. By the end of the lunch, I made a new friend. Chapter 4. After registration, first lesson of psychology, I walk in, sitting down and taking out my mirror. Tendrils of dark brown hair are escaping from my ponytail. I tuck them behind my ears and then pull my ponytail with both hands, so it gets tighter. Mr. Siddon walks in. He apologizes for being late. Why do teachers do that, I wonder? It's their lesson after all. Doubt it affects their pay. Then again, I guess if we have to be on time, so should they. There are always the same students that turn up late. I take out my textbook, flicking it open to the right page. I hate carrying textbooks around. It's so big and heavy. Monique says we'll all end up with back pain from carrying these books. That's what A-levels do to you. Mr. Seaton opens up the PowerPoint. I already know what's the topic. The topic is my interest, after all. He stands up in front of the class. Schizophrenia and mood disorders, he says. Let's write it down in our exercise books, plus the date. Can't forget the date. A few latecomers walk in now. Mr. Seaton shakes his head, pointing at the clock, telling them they need to be on time for the lesson. Can anyone tell me the definition of schizophrenia? He says. Schizophrenia is a psychotic disorder in which a person has distorted perception of reality. I roll my eyes. She didn't even raise her hand. Well done, Zara, said Mr. Seaton. Spot on answer. Can anyone tell me the different subtypes? Who's been reading ahead? He leans against the desk, placing his hands on my table. I peer up at him. Tess? He said gently. He already knows I've read ahead. I look away, down at the table. Can you name me subtypes? I don't know any, I mumble. He looks disappointed. Are you sure? Disorganized, catatonic, resentful, undifferentiated, and paranoid. Yes, sir. Someone else calls out the answer. Lesson begins. Sighing, I slump back in my chair. I sit by the window. The best seat for students and nightmares for teachers. Paranoid schizophrenics experience hallucinations or delusions, such as gender or percussion. Voices tell us to hurt ourselves or others, feeling like we're powerful, almost superhuman. There is no direct cure for schizophrenia, but there's treatment. Drugs, therapy, atypical drugs, conventional drugs, antipsychotic and antidepressants, psychotherapy. Dr. Emmeline. She's just one of many. It started when I was 11, several months after Stanley died. Kids don't tend to develop it, but the signs were all there. Skipping school, random outbursts of anger, sleeping more. I became less sociable. Apparently, I had a load of friends in primary school. Stanley was around primary school. He always made everything easier. The first 3 years of secondary school were a living hell. Self-harm started at year 8. Most days were spent sleeping, watching TV, and trying not to scream my house down. Didn't want to piss our neighbors off. Monique always tried to come see me. She's a good mate. Hang out. Do something normal. Some days it was fine. Other days I found myself slipping into blackness or depressive state, as therapists say. I almost told Monique to stop seeing me only to make her life easier. But then I met Ed in year 10, and things became better, much better, until they didn't, until recently. All right, well, that is my reading for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.